Retiring at 55 sounds amazing until someone tells you you need $1 million. What if that number actually isn't about the million? What if it's about your lifestyle? Black women over 40, today we are breaking down what you actually need to retire at 55. Not based on social media, definitely not based on somebody else's life, but based on your real monthly numbers. And I'm going to show you the one number that matters more than your net worth. So let's start with what retirement really is and what it's not. So today we're going to talk about why the $1 million myth is not universal, the real formula behind retirement math, what changes if you retire at 55, and I want to know that, and how to calculate your number. So what does retirement really mean? The further we dive deeper into this, it's showing me that retirement really isn't about waiting for the government to give you Medicare and Social Security, and then you can finally pull out your pension. It's about pretty much figuring out ways to replace your income so you can live the life that you want to live. The crazy part about it, we don't really sit back and see how much control we really have over our lives. Who said that we have to wait until the government? We design our own lives. We get so caught up in these jobs and what society knows say that we have to do. And that's why we sit and we wait to take what we feel we're supposed to get. I put in my Social Security. I want to get my money back. Okay, you can get your money back. But how about you don't get your life back? How about you wasting all these years? How about that? I am so knee deep in. I am looking at other people, men and women, just talking about retirement and talking about how they waited for so long. And it's like, this is what retirement is. I'm sitting here, my body's aching, I can't move. They say go find friends. They say go to volunteer. They say go to the senior center place. But I'm so tired. My back hurt. I've been sitting in this chair for the last 30 years. I don't want to do anything anymore. Now you see why it's best to really design your own retirement. It's crazy. I'm sitting back, I'm like, only a few people, and I guess it's like 50-50. You got some who are like, you know what, I waited till I was 62, I'm living my life. And you got others who are like miserable because now their life was really designed around their job. They don't have that camaraderie anymore. Especially with those bossy managers. They don't have nobody to boss around anymore. They don't have that day-to-day going back and forth. They just in their house. Their family is out doing their own thing. And if their family do want to deal with it, they like, here, watch these grandkids. Girl, we ain't going to get that knee deep in because I can go to town on some stuff. However, it's also not about being a big saver. Like, you can save, yes, but you can save and you can invest and have that money work for you. Save what you can because you know what kind of lifestyle you actually want to live. A girlfriend and I were having a conversation about what we actually need to retire. And it's so funny because it's like, why do we need so much now versus 5 years from now? What's the big difference? Why can't we just say, you know what we need? We just take what we get now and then just ride out. Yes, you're going to have to supplement that income to have income coming in, not unless you have things that can actually pay you out or you have enough of this, enough of that, whatever that might be. Because you don't get to pull out your 401 or your pension or even Social Security for that matter until you're like, what, 55? No, not 55. I think it is 55. Is it 55 and a half or is it 59 and a half? I think each of them have their own thing. We're going to dive deeper into that because what I thought I knew is not, but I know 62 is definitely for Social Security. I know I believe the pension, depending on how they roll it, I think it's either 55 or 59 and a half. I really want to be by that 59 and a half business. I really, really want to go there. But it makes you sit back and think, how can I supplement my income until I get to that point? What can I do? Say, we're going to go at 50. Because that's where, I'm about to be there in about 3 months. What could we do at 50 or even 52? Because we're planning right now. We're getting into it. We don't know it all. We're just trying to figure it out. So 52. What can I do these next 2 years to compound to last me until I can start pulling out my benefits, pensions, 401ks, and things like that. And then we hope that we get some Social Security, if that's even there for us. But we're thinking positive, right? So I'm just sitting here worried about what's my big number and what I actually need. Because I know for me, there's so much that I have now that I will not need. And also, what I am going to do now to practice, not to practice, to show myself, to train myself that I don't need all of these things. I said by next year, the end of the year, I'm going to start like somewhat downsizing. And that might be a cable bill. That might be cell phone. That might little things first, because the mortgage can't go nowhere. Okay. The car note can't go nowhere. You can even shop around for maybe some more insurance that might help for your renter's insurance, your mortgage insurance, your car insurance, things like that, to kind of shop around and see how you can lower some of these expenses. I'm going to be on that because it's all about practicing and working that muscle to assure that you are doing what you're supposed to do to make sure you have the funds that you need. And sometimes we can get a little out of hand with our expenses. So we got to practice. To kind of piggyback on what I just mentioned about, cutting down expenses, it's really all about your expenses. What you have can determine if you can retire. It's all about what your expenses are. If you have a high overhead and you be like, hey, if I start working right now, if I haven't got a part-time job to the semi-retirement to, work part-time, travel the other half, I'm going to be fresh out of luck because I need that full-time income. So you have to sit back and look. Get that piece of paper, get that pen. Let's go back old school and let's start writing down our expenses. And also write down if we know what we have right now, what we would like them to be. Some things are non-negotiable, like the mortgage and the rent, that's just high. Okay, car note, depending on what you want, if you want used, new, whatever the case may be. Those things are non-negotiable. But other things we can kind of like wiggle around. I even seen someone talk about how they changed their phone from more of the popular brands like the Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, things like that, to Mint Mobile. A lot of more retirees, seniors use that because it's cheaper and it's a low cost. Like you get unlimited everything. It's under the T-Mobile towers, but it's like $15 a month. Is something that I would look into? Absolutely. If my calls can get through and everything is clear, would I consider it? Sign me up. Absolutely. I'm not too big to sit and say if I'm going to save. Because at the end of the day, if I can save somewhere, have more money in my pocket so I can live a better, calmer life, absolutely. I'm reducing hustle and bustle from traffic. I don't got to deal with I got to get this done, got to get that done, beating deadlines, emails, meetings, trying to request a PTO and you telling me you got to think about it. No, Mint Mobile, here we come. Okay. So the overall meaning for me is if you want freedom, you have to be flexible. And I mean flexible with your expenses to shrink them some way, somehow. And that can even be for groceries. I just sat back, y'all, I've been doing some Walmart Plus shopping. I know this is extra, but I have been saving on my groceries. That's another day, another story. But I want to let you know, even on groceries, you can actually save. Sometimes when we go into the store, and we in there just looking around, and on an empty stomach with a side growl, we in there picking up things we know we don't need. And that makes the bill higher. Get what you need, get out of there, or have them get it for you and they can bring it to your car. Or if go in there straight, focus. Don't look left, don't look right. Tunnel vision. Get what you got to get and get up out of there. Save yourself some money. I'm telling you. So retirement isn't about having $1 million. It's about your life costing less than your income streams. Live below your means, if possible. So now let's talk about the real math. What are we actually looking at? What are we calculating up in all the things? I wrote a few things down because I want to make sure that I run these off to make sure that we have everything covered. So, for example, we got to have our housing, our utilities, our food, our insurance, however that might look. Again, we mentioned healthcare, we mentioned house. If you live in a house, you gotta have like some home insurance, renter's insurance for apartments, health insurance, all the different things, right? Transportation. What does that look like? Are we going to have a vehicle with a car note, or are we going to buy something off and just pay some insurance on it? Or are we just going to use public transportation and just travel when needed? Or are we going to do Uber? Are we doing things like that? You know what I mean? What are we actually doing here? So we gotta get all this stuff down. And also, just your lifestyle in general. Like, are we living above our means? Are we gonna be average, below our means? I think for me, I'm gonna be like a hybrid between average and below, because I want to leave that wiggle room when I do want to get a little extra. I got a little cushion on the side. Because sometimes you might want to step out a little bit. You might want to take a trip you ain't supposed to. Well, nothing ain't supposed to. Let's not say that. You might want to take a trip that you would desire. See how we reframe that? So here is the actual math here. If your bills for the month, paying all of your things, not the extra, paying the things that we just discussed a little while ago, say if it actually adds up to like $4,000 a month. Just throwing a number out there. That is $48,000 a year. Reasonable. Think about it. You're not working. This is money that, is coming to you. Or you may work in part-time, however you might look at it, if you have to. But we're going to look from a standpoint that you're not working. What do you actually need? So now you got to tally up, okay, if I got a 401k here, I got a 401k here, I got a pension over here, I got this over here. We're going to put healthcare to the side. I got an HSA over here. Or I got my insurance for my job, put that over here. I pay my deductibles or whatever, put that over here. All right, fine. We grooving now. Sit back and think about what your actual number is. And then what you do is you add a 4% to that every year for inflation. Simple math. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, and this is where that $1 million come into place, which we don't need, but that's for you to determine if you need that. So we're going to use the same math at 48,000, right? And what we're going to take that 48,000 and we're going to times it by 25. Okay? So it's like 25 years. 25 years that you may have to live or to plan for after you choose to retire, whatever the case may be. And when you multiply that, you get 1.2 million. That's why people feel they need $1 million to retire. But to break it down, to make it more simpler, look at your expenses. Look at what you need for the month. And that's what you need. Ooh, we love a good little math moment over here. If you did not get it, I can show you again. I can tell you again. Just let me know in the comments, and I will definitely write it out for you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pin it as the first comment so you can actually see the formula, so you will know how to implement that for yourself. So by knowing that formula, that's when your perspective shift, because we get so caught up in wanting to know the big number. It's all about knowing what you need for the month and how to maintain that. And if you know how to maintain that, then the money gonna come. I also want to talk about the benefits of pulling your Social Security out at 62 versus it pulling out at 67. There's a big benefit of it. People get so caught up, and this is extra. This ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it just hit me. I'm going to get in depth with that later on another video. But think about it. You wait till 67 to pull out your Social Security. Money that you don't put into that you want to get back. Yes, I know you could be working you a really good job, making 6 figures, high. Yes. But you get less checks. And who say you're going to make it? Right? So you pull it out and you finagle it out, and you figure out how you can just get extra income. You gotta be very finagle about that. And I'm going to get into that, because let me tell you something. Your girl is knee deep. We knee deep about this. And I'm loving it. I'm learning, and I like numbers. I like math, and I like simple math, because when you understand simple math, it makes you more intriguing. It makes you say, I'm not that far away, or I thought I couldn't do this, and I really can do this. And that's with anything. That comes with investing in everything. Girl, I got you, because guess what? I want it all. I want to be chilling, okay, and enjoying life, and I want you to chill with me. I want to do a retreat or something so we can all get together and do this together and have a good time in our 50s. Imagine. So now that we went over the math, I want to go over some things that are really, really important that could possibly change your number. It can go up or it can go down. People's going to throw a few things out there where you can get a bigger picture to where you can actually see, okay, I may not was looking at it from that perspective. Let's go through a few. Downsizing, reducing your housing expense. That is one. No more commuting. So that is something that you can actually save. Those expenses can go somewhere else. Or if you still have to commute, use public transportation because you don't have a vehicle, or even if you have a vehicle, you're not spending that much gas. Gas can actually sit in your car long. Like my mom's car. I may gas her car up maybe every 3 weeks, once a month. Because when she do go, she ain't going that far. Or she just, going here and there every now and then. So you sit back and not that you stay at home being a hermit, but at the end of the day, you're just not doing that hustle and bustle in traffic. You're not burning gas just because you're sitting in idle traffic. All the things, making them extra stops during the day. You're being very cautious. And you can also do Ubers and stuff like that. You can kind of divide the expense and it'll also be lower. And now you're on a lower tax bracket. We love that. If you get a part-time income, that can also change your numbers as well. Another factor, and I brought it up and I said Social Security, the difference between 62 and 67. There's a big difference. I know a few people that are striving for the 67 and it's killing them. It's killing them to get to the 67. But everybody want to max out. You max out and you miss out. Because once you sit back and you get ready to sit and actually sit down to enjoy your max takeout, you're too tired. You're tired. When all them aches and pains hit for real, because they gonna hit, because I ache and pain and I am all of 49, okay? When them aches and pains start hitting, all you're gonna do is sit. And I saw a lady talk about that on YouTube. And also your pension possibilities. Like, what does that look like? How much you're going to get? What's that calculation look for you with your job and things like that? So these are all different things that can actually change your actual calculations and what your take home number might be. You may know what you need, but you got to find out what your take home number is, and all that calculates from different perspectives of your budget. So it's always good to just kind of like have everything at the forefront so you'll know. So always remember, the number isn't fixed. It moves when your lifestyle moves. So if you add up, it goes up. If you take away, it goes away, and you kind of can balance out. So you guys it's like you want a fixed income because you know what your numbers are going to actually be. Those numbers are going to stay, not unless things run out, like 401k runs out and things like that. But not unless you are investing and you can keep it going, Because you still want to also, I know this is such a side, but I'm just all over the place, but I just want to throw it out and just bomb it out. Even if you have a fixed income with your Social Security and your pension, right? You can still take that money and you can still invest it. Let me not say that. Can you invest Social Security money, government money? It's your income money, right? Maybe the pension part you can. How can they know? How will they know? How will they know? I'm all about retiring early. I know some of us can't, but that's the projection that I'm on. Early retirement. I feel like when someone say, I want to retire, I'm going to retire at 67, which is like retirement age. That's like me saying, I want to retire at 55. That's like my full retirement age. If I could do it at 52, we're here. So what's different at 55? There's a lot. It's a lot that's different. First off, going to start off strong, which we don't want to hear, is the healthcare gap. There's going to be a gap between if your employer does not let you walk out with that healthcare insurance, there's going to be a large gap in between until you get to 62 to get your Medicare. So you're going to have to figure out some things in between to get some healthcare. So that's why we do things like HSA, or we just put some money to the side for a rainy day. How that might look. HSA, you can invest, have your money compound for you so you can always have more. And there is a limit to what you can actually put into your HSA, but that's a different story, different time. I got you. So now at 55, you can access all of your benefits. you can access all of your benefits. When I say benefits, I mean like your retirement accounts, you know, your 401ks, your pension, whatever you got going on the side, you know, got the fidelity. So if I compound like a beast, you hear me? And stay strong, who knows what 5 years can bring me. And I'm going to do a projection for you on how much, knowing what number you want, in addition to what compounding can look like for 5 years and 2, because you know I said 52. So that's coming too. Stay tuned. But there's a downfall to it. There might be some, depending on what accounts you may have, there may be some penalties if you do pull out early at 55, because some of them are 59 and a half. That's why I did mention that. So I kind of want to, go back, but yet go forward. But I also want to just kind of ease it in to make sure that we cover these type of moments. But there might be some penalties. But hey, we got to look at how much the penalties are. Is it worth it? I don't know. We got to check it out. And like I mentioned before, you got to bridge the years before the Social Security comes in. So you have to just make sure that you know which Social Security is going to possibly be if you're not putting into it, and what that number is going to look like in the future, in addition to what you're going to need before that actually kick in. Because I look at it like this: the 401k or any retirement investments can be that bridge until those things kick in. Or better yet, it could be the bridge and also be more income in addition to that. Because who said that we're supposed to work that long? It's all about knowing how to finagle the system. If you don't know the system, you will be working till you're 67 or 62 waiting. But if you have all these things to say, hey, this can bridge me over, now I can do this. Or you just, girl, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I just know what Kelly doing. And Kelly is not sitting around. I can't do it. I feel like I want to do things like my mom, she's going to be 80 next year. I'm going to be 50 this year. It's things that I would like to do with her during the day, or take some time off and do it. Don't have to wait till I get off work, or take some time. Because when I take time off using my PTO, I do something for myself. Let alone do something for myself, I'm going to do something with my daughters. Or my daughter, one of them. They might, separate. It all just depends. But when you have limited time, you can't do these things. You are just like the golden handcuffs. It's just pretty. We want the money, but we can't do nothing. So how are you going to design your retirement? I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I need you to answer them, please. Thank you. What does life look like at 55? Slower pace, lower mortgage, different state, less pressure. If you design your life intentionally, your number will shrink. So what are you going to do this week? I have an assignment for you. Pull out your retirement statements, however that might look. Call those 401ks, call those old jobs, call those old places. Find out what you got. And I want you to track your expenses for the next 30 days. So this can give you an idea of what you have going on. And the crazy part about it, we grown. We are full grown. I already know you're doing this already. You may not have called your retirement plans and things like that, but you're already tracking yourself because you pay your bills every month. But now we're going to look at it with a different lens. We're going to sit back and we're going to put everything down on a piece of paper. And we're going to say, wow, what can we actually shrink, reduce, eliminate? You don't need a random number that someone else posted online. You need clarity, you need math, and you need a plan that fits your real life as a Black woman over 40. If you are serious about retiring at 55, this isn't about fantasy, it's about strategy. So ladies, if you enjoyed this conversation, please thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all the things, hype it up. You ain't know what to do. I truly, truly appreciate you. And if you know another Black woman over 40 who would enjoy conversations like this, let her know. Tell her to come on over. Tell her to get in the community and all the things. I'll catch you in the next conversation. Yeah.